at home. Right?
You are today, yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, on Facebook Live.
All right, good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming for our first session, YSN-ASM sessions, sharing sessions, together with Young Merdeka Award Grant for International Attachment. Let me introduce myself. I'm Professor Danny Ng. I'm from Harvard University. I'm also the chair of Young Scientist Network Academic Malaysia for the Research Synergy Group. So today with us, we are fortunate to invite their number of panelists who are the past winner of this grant winners. What they do today, they're going to share with us with a lot of their previous experience and then how they will achieve their current positions and their achievement throughout this grant attachment. With us today also we have Nadia from the Secretariat of this Merdeka Award Trust Secretariat. She will do a sharing with us. How do we apply? I'm sure all of you will get excited to apply for this grant. And she also give us brief experience sharing how this grant is about and what is our objective of the grant. Without further ado, I will first invite Madam Nadia. She will be sharing with us how this objective of this grant. Nadia, over to you.
All right, thank you, Danny. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Nadia, and I'm from the Merdeka Award Secretariat. Just give me a few minutes for me to share my screen. All right, so here we go. So good evening. I am here to talk to you about the Merdeka Award Grant for International Attachment. Let me just go straight on to it then. I will first give you an overview about Merdeka Award Trust. So the Merdeka Award Trust was established by Petronas, ExxonMobil, and Shell in 2007 to recognize and reward excellent individuals and organizations whose work and achievements have contributed a lot to the growth of the country and to the people of Malaysia. So basically, Merdeka is all about that passion, determination, spirit of our Pejuang Kemerdekaan. And that's essentially what we are looking for in our Merdeka Award recipient as well as our grant recipients. So you see some of them here today later on. So you will see how passionate and wonderful they are basically, and how they have contributed basically, and their ideas basically. All right, I'll go on to what Merdeka Award is all about. So Merdeka Award has two main signature programs, which is the award itself and also the Merdeka Award Grant. Before I go into detail about the Merdeka Award Grant, let me just briefly go through the Merdeka Award categories, which is, there's 5 in total, which is education and community, we have environment, we have health, science and technology, as well as outstanding scholastic achievement. The first 4 category is open for Malaysians and also Malaysian organization, whereas the last category, the outstanding contribution to the people of Malaysia, is open to foreigners. So we started the award in 2007, and since then we have about 53 individuals and 4 organizations who have received the award. And now to the main topic for today, which is the Merdeka Award Grant for International Attachment. Basically, the grant is all about rewarding deserving young Malaysian with a chance to engage in a short-term collaborative project of up to 3 months at any internationally recognized host institution. So the discipline that we cover is education, somewhat emulates with the Merdeka Award categories, which is education, arts, sports, health, science and technology, environment as well. So since 2013, we have about 19 individuals who have received the grant. I'll just briefly take you through who are the members of our Board of Trustees. Basically, the Merdeka Board of Trustees is led by our Royal Patron and Chairman, which is His Royal Highness Sultan Nazim Muhyiddin Shah. And we also have representatives from the 3 founding companies, which is Tengku Muhammad Taufik from Petronas, Mr. Edward Graham from ExxonMobil, as well as Datuk Ian Low from Shell. We also have 2 independent members, which is Professor Datuk Dr. Halimatun, as well as Datuk Yvonne Chia. And overall, the Secretariat is led by the Secretary, Puan Karina Fauzi. Okay, now, straight on to the Merdeka Award Grant for International Attachment. I've mentioned earlier that the discipline that we cover somewhat, is the Merdeka Award category. So I'll just repeat it again. It's we're looking for individuals in education, arts and sports, education and social work, environment, health, as well as science and technology. So the requirement is you have to be a Malaysian between the ages of 22 to 35 who are currently working or studying in a field that would be of benefit to Malaysia or to the people of Malaysia. So the criteria is simple. For academics, you must have a master or equivalent professional degree at the time of applying. And if you are a working professional, you must have some recognized professional standing or experience or accomplishments basically in the field of which you are applying. And the end product for the grant is we want you to participate in collaborative and working relationship with other experts in the chosen. And we hope that you are able to utilize the knowledge and the contacts, share your body of work, and also elaborate further your body of work and achievement and bring it back to Malaysia. And how you apply is via the Merdeka Award website, www.merdekaaward.my, and application is open from 22nd of February up until the 3rd of May. Just a brief overview on the evaluation process. So applications open from now until the 3rd of May. And then we will have a first round of shortlisting with our founders committee. And then we will take you through the interview, basically. This interview is kind of like Shark Tank, if you're familiar. So we'll give you about 15-20 minutes to pitch your idea, answer a few Q&A with our interviewers. And if you are shortlisted, we will bring the name to the Board of Trustees for their final selection. So if you are shortlisted or if you are successful, we will notify you via email and also via phone call. All right, so that is it for me today. I will hand it over back to Dr. Danny.
Thank you, Ms. Madam Nadia, for the sharing. Wonderful. I just posted, if you have any questions from the participants, please feel free to put in your question in the Q&A sessions. We will drop it, we'll collect the questions, and then we will discuss throughout the sessions. Okay, for those who are in the Facebook Live, I know there are some participants from the Facebook Live. Please feel free to drop your question as well in the Facebook chat box. We will collect all the questions and then we'll post to all the beloved panelists here. They will answer all your questions as much as you can. Okay, right. Without further ado, I have 4 very interesting panelists today. There are 4 from the past 4 winners coming from the 2013, 2014, and 2015 and 2018. So Professor Abi is the winner of 2013. He was he's now from Sunway University. He will share some of his experience with us or some of his reflections, what he has been through and his awards. Then I will next invite, now I would like to first invite Prof. Abi to share because he has his spirit on. Thanks, Abi. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Danny. And thank you very much to the Young Scientist Network of the Academy of Sciences Malaysia to invite me as well as the fellow recipients to share our experiences and also kind of reflect on how we got where we are, as well as the journey that we've taken since then. But I've got a couple of disclaimers that I actually want to start off first. First of all, I'm only aware of the broad selection criteria set by the Merdeka Award Secretariat and the selection panel. I do not know the exact reason why I was selected. It's certainly not because of the way I look. And I'm here to share my experience during the attachment and perhaps later on when we have our open discussion, the general application process. So I thought it'll be important for me to at least give you a brief understanding of what my mission is. My mission as an educator, a science communicator, a geneticist, and ultimately a leader in the fields that I work on is to ensure that the research that I do ultimately gets into clinic one day. It's also to think about the way in which we can train our biomedical science professionals and medical graduates to address the challenges that are constantly evolving. And finally, knowing that to ensure that sustainability in the research as well as in the education foray, we need to ensure that there is science excellence and sustainability in society. And that was the exact same mission that I shared 7 years ago. And I talked about my cancer genetics, but I explained why it was important in terms of how we treat Asians. I also talked about the kind of education journey. And at that time, I was at UPM and seconded to Perdana University to start a new graduate medical training program. But also, I talked about how my involvement with Academy of Sciences Malaysia that afforded me amazing opportunities to reach out to the young generation through the National Science Challenge and to reshape the competition and ultimately work towards trying to create an environment that promotes science. I also shared with them the exciting opportunity that I had to co-lead the starting up of the Young Scientists Network. So that was just 1 year into the setting up of YSN in 2012 December. I also shared with them the kind of services that I do at Hospital Kuala Lumpur and the ministerial work that we contribute. I really thought it was important to share the different areas that I was involved in because that's the reality of the work that I do. I'm not defined just purely by the numbers of papers that I have or the H index or the citations, but I believe that my role as an academic is to bring the impact that is necessary in whatever disciplines or areas that I need to. And that is why when I chose the attachment, I chose to go to multiple places. So I guess I was a little greedy, but it was essential for me to do that because this was an opportunity to go to the States and to actually really experience the different facets of my mission in terms of education, research, and services. So my primary attachment was at the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine at the Institute of Genetic Medicine with Professor David Bailey. But I also spent some time at the Broad Institute, where a lot of the genomic sequencing is being done. But because of my interest in science policy, I also made an effort to visit the US National Academy of Sciences. And I also used this opportunity to present my work at the American Association of Cancer Research, which is the biggest conference in my field in the world. And so these are just some of the pictures. As you can see, some of the older pictures, but I also lost a bit of weight, not because of the budget, but because I actually, went walking and doing lots of stuff and obviously gained all those calories and more, after returning. But if you were to ask me what the biggest learnings that I got from here was sometimes it's easy to set our own new standards when we are back in Malaysia. And it was really good to go back again and remind ourselves and benchmark ourselves to what really matters. And being at these world-class institutions helped me to do that. We often trivialize the importance of mentors because we feel like, oh yeah, I'm already a full-time academic, I don't need a mentor. And I think, again, just having these giants in science and having the opportunity to sit at their shoulders and to have an insight to how the world can change with the new research innovations was amazing. But also, I must say that we can't trivialize the value of this award because it also gave me the recognition and the spotlight to actually do the kind of things that I wanted to do. But ultimately, as I look back, I mean, it's been 8 years now, right, since I was awarded. I can't really pinpoint, what exactly has helped me to where I am today. And that is because the whole is always greater than the sum of its parts. Every little bit, I believe, has contributed towards where I am today. But it also was important, and I think in a world where we are now defined by KPIs and objective measures, and even our promotions are defined by how we conform to specific points, the Merdeka Award reminds us about the importance of celebrating individuality and the freedom that we have as individuals to fight the pressures to conform and to become the best version of yourself. And so for me, if there's one advice, just apply lah, because you really have nothing to lose. Two things I got. I was able to find my true north and purpose because it reminds you that what you do is not about the KPIs you search, but actually your responsibility to the nation. What you do is also really important because it impacts other lives besides yourself. And finally, It's an all-paid mini sabbatical with very little obligation, but a lifelong trust and commitment to uphold that spirit of award. And when I think about the spotlight that it's given me, these are a couple of newspaper articles that I got into. How many of you can say that you and Angelina Jolie were in the same page of a newspaper? It gave me the spotlight, it gave me the confidence, and many of you know, after a couple of years, I took part in a competition called Fame Lab and became the first Asian to win it. It gave me that ability to find my voice, to understand what it means to be a researcher and the social responsibility beyond that of my professional responsibility. So with that, thank you, Danny, and I hope to engage with you later on. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Professor Abi. Well done. I'm sure all of you also aware that Abi is the best, the first science communicator in the country. And then now with his leaderships, I think we have a few more coming in Malaysia. Very well. Thank you, Abi. So now, thanks, Abi. Thank you. I would like to invite the second, our second panelist, a female panelist, Professor Janet Lim, to share her experience. I'm sure she will have more interesting things to share with us today. Janet, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Danny. I'm trying to share my slides. Okay. Can everyone see my slide?
Yes, Janet.
Okay, thank you very much.
Full screen. Thank you.
All right. Hello, everybody. Special thanks to YSN for inviting me to be one of the panelists to share my experience winning the Merdeka Award Grant for International Attachment. So my name is Janet Lim Hong Yi, and I'm a professor at the Department of Chemistry, University Putra, Malaysia. I would like to take this opportunity to share with you the journey that I've been through before Merdeka Award Grant for International Attachment in 2014, and then up to the point where what I'm doing at the moment. So I applied for this in 2014. Special thanks to the sponsors, Petronas, ExxonMobil, and also Shell. These are very big names. So it is such an honor to be given this award in 2014. So when I first received the letter, this is the letter for an interview. So those who apply, I believe that when you're given a chance to attend for an interview, you'll always be questioning if you are the one. That's what I was doing back then. I was very nervous. It was so overwhelming when I was there at the interview, waiting to be interviewed. I'm glad that there are other interviewees able to talk with them a little bit, and that kind of like soothe my nerve only for a little while until I went into the room. So after the interview, which took about 20 minutes to about 30 minutes, then was waiting for the response to the results. And I was like over the moon, literally fireworks, when I was informed that I am the one. I don't want to say that I'm the chosen one. So I was the recipient of the 2014 Merdeka Award Grant for International Attachment. It was such an honor, and it was so memorable. I'll never forget this event for the rest of my life. So there comes the ceremony where I was asked to, just to be presentable, and I actually took some trouble to make myself presentable for the speech, which I was giving on the day itself. I had a few slides, and the content of my proposed project was on sensing. And these are the moments that I shared with my family members and also my head of department then. And of course, having a great moment to be photographed with one of the great personality in the world, I would say. And then I had an opportunity to go to the University of Toronto, Canada, where I joined Professor Aaron Wheeler So you can see that his is a huge team comprising of not just chemists. He's a chemist himself, but his team comprises chemists, physicists, engineers. And I was actually quite, I would say, inspired, because then my team comprises of mostly chemists working on just, I would say, solely on material synthesizing, characterization, etc. And for him to have such diversity in his team is something that I strive for. I am still striving for that, and I hope that one day I'll be able to get what he currently he has already been doing in the past. So this is one picture. So coincidentally, it was Halloween too when I was there. For the first time in my life, I experienced that. And coincidentally, there is a, I don't know, Dracula in a lab coat, which suits my style anyway. So when I came back, I was inspired. I have always been very passionate about research and have been always striving to publish in excellent journals. And that's what Aaron Wheeler has been doing all the while. Never questioned about impact factor, never questioned about the tier. He just does it. I think the thing is we have to just do it without questioning it. And at the end of the day, what we want is quality research work that when there are researchers reading our papers, they get us, and we, in this way, this is also one way for us to disseminate our work. And I think because of the Merdeka Award for International Attachment, I gained confidence in my research, and I went on to be awarded the Anugerah Akademik Negara ke-10. Very, very happy for a young researcher. And I go on to try to commercialize my, I would say, try to commercialize my the materials that I synthesize in the lab. And very happy that in 2020, my team, which is called WISER, was selected to be the top 50 team in the 10th Lee Kuan Yew Global Business Plan Competition. Still ongoing. So we'll see what's going to happen. And this business plan is on synthesizing materials, which we have patented, and using materials for the purpose of sensing for water contamination. So I was very lucky because I was encouraged, strongly encouraged by University Putra Malaysia to incorporate my company, which was registered in 2016 and have been selling chemicals, specifically graphene derivatives materials to interested customers, and have been selling ever since then. And in 2018, I was awarded the Research Entrepreneur Award based on the material that we are selling, and also kind of like we're still working on research, and then this actually greatly helped with the setting up of the startup company. So in 2021, I would like you all to look out for this brand, which is Graphene Talk. I'm not going to tell you what it is. So if you want to find out more about it, probably try to bear this in your mind when you're free. So search for Graphene Talk, and probably it will be revealed to you in the near future. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge everyone that has helped me to be at the stage where I am today. Firstly, to the Merdeka Award Secretariat, specifically to Petronas, ExxonMobil, and Shell. Without this award, I think I would not have the confidence, and also I would not have the, I would say, know my ability that I can actually achieve what I strive to achieve if I put in effort. So of course, I would like to thank UPM for all the grants and also the commercialization opportunities. Without the support of UPM, I don't think Go Advanced Solutions in Berhad will be materialized, and I don't think that Graphene Talk will be materialized as well. So I would also like to thank Mohi and also Musti for the grants and also the awards. It helped greatly, really. Without the money, I don't think I will be able to be where I am today. And also the awards are actually recognitions to tell me that I've been doing the right thing and have to continue to do the right thing. And also involvement from my colleagues, my students, my collaborators, friends, and of course, my family members. They have, especially my family members, my children, my son, and also my daughter and my husband. They are my pillar of strength. I know you cringe, but it is true. I think without them, I will not be where I am today. And I thank them from the bottom of my heart. So with this, I thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Janet. Wow, impressive presentations, a lot of awards that you win. Thanks, I think it's very, very impressive. I think it will encourage a lot of our participants today to apply for the grants as a seed, as a starting point for their journey. But before that, I just remind all the participants, feel free to drop in more questions into the chat box as well as the Q&A. So we're going to address them together as once we concluded with all the sharing session from all the presenters. Together with Madam Nadia, I think they have already questions for you. Later on, I'm going to pose it to you, address it directly. So the next presenters or next panelists I would like to invite is the winner of 2015, Dr. Muhammad Shukro from UKM. So Shukro, over to you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. Let me share my slide. Assalamualaikum and very good evening. My name is Muhammad Shukro. I'm from Solar Energy Research Institute, UKM. I would like to share my experience in EPFL Switzerland. I was named as one of the recipients in 2015 to further investigate the promising Malaysian main commodity in solar cells. I was afraid during the interview because all the interviewers from the petrochemicals companies, and I'm fighting for the palm oil. And as you can see here is Swiss Convention Center, which is powered by the solar cells. Here, this is all the panels is from the solar cells. So I had this opportunity to attend my short attachment in winter 2016. And in that year as well, the School of Chemistry in EPFL was announced as the best chemistry schools in Europe. And this is where the groundbreaking imaging solar cells, such as diacetyl solar cells and perovskite solar cells, was reported. So I would like to thanks to Merdeka Award for these opportunities that, so that I can able to work with Professor Kaja Nazaruddin. He is one of the most cited chemists and world most influential mind by Isaac Thompson in 2014, 15, and 16. He's expert in the solar cells and OLED. The most famous invention is on the black dye and the N71 dye, which is the groundbreaking finding. Has been almost 20 years as the highest efficiencies in solar cell, in DSSC solar cells. So I have been stationed in EPFL Wallis, which is a city of Sion, a small city in Switzerland. My first week is quite intense. I guess it's for everyone, it's the same. I have to complete all the teachers, the laboratory preparations, all the method need to be finalized, the chemicals need to be purchased, and EPFL do provide me some basics aspect for the laboratory and this whole bench for me to work on. The city of Sion is in the middle of the Alps, so you can see these highly mountains. It's close to the Mont Blanc and house of the hundreds of ski centers, world class. And my apartment is just like 5 to 10 minutes walks from this campus, and it's cozy enough for me to face the coming winters that time. My main scientific activities within these 3 months are focusing on the polymerization of the the whole transport materials, the solar cell, perovskite, and the SAC. So before I go in deep on the scientific activities, let us enjoy these particular scenarios. I'm very enjoying the Alps mountain sceneries, especially this location is in Luterbrunnen, and the top is the Grinde Walls and the Grinde Mall. As well, the peak that you see here is the Onfalk Peak, the main summit in the Bernese Alps, which is the best ski centers. You can feel on the top of this mountain, you can feel the icy air streams. It's very refreshing, and the view is very overwhelming. And with all these photogenic degrees, so I strongly believe that any of us won't have any excuse to be very productive. And my first part of my attachment is focusing on the polymerization of this material. And we do a few approach to solve this problem, mainly on these two most common polymerization routes. And unfortunately, the first method that we works on is not works well. So I have to look for the second method, which is the photocondensation methods. Alhamdulillah, this is the approach that gives us the light at the end of the tunnel. And for this work, I have to work with the purification of starting material using column and chromatography. I'm not a pure chemist, organic chemist. I'm a physical chemist, so this is a challenge for me to do. And then this step is followed by the hydrolysis and followed by the polymerizations. And this is the new material that we synthesize. This new material has a bright futures for utilizing in any electrochromic windows or LEDs or actuators. This concept could be extended to the utilizing of the palm oil as a starting material in this material. So it sounds that I really work very hard during these 2 weeks, but don't get me right. We do some like enjoying the time. We play a lot in the labs. So this is my fellow friend from Poland, Korea, and Spain. And my friend as well helped me together with us. We fabricate the solid state Delta solar cells from palm-based electrolytes. And as a result, we got the among the highest solid state solar cell utilizing polymer electrolyte, which is threefold from the previous one. And I had an opportunity as well to learn the perovskite fabrication, because at that time perovskite is very new, it is very in, and now it's reached 25% efficiency, which is on par with the silicon solar cells on the commercial part. So I feel very welcome, and I was treated well by the members of the EPFL. So we are all international. There's Iranian here, there's Italian, and the Korean, and the Polish, the Ukrainian, all internationalized, but none of Swiss students inside. I don't know why, don't ask me. We always have this occasion for social lunch and having a Christmas dinner together. And I guess this is a very good opportunity for me and for all of you that going to abroad to be exposed to this international level. Apart from the laboratory works, I'm appreciate to be able to learn a new culture, to meet a new people, traveling to this particular place, exposed to multilingual communities in Switzerland. For your information, the Switzerland have 4 main language, which is German, French, Italian, and maybe surprising you, Romanish with the old Latin. So it is still there. So I had this opportunity to bring my parents as well. So I think this is nothing better than seeing your loved one smiling and laughing together with you and giving you strength. I bet this is the best medicine. As well, his late brothers and wife are together with us. I would like to ask everyone to observe a moment of silence for the late Colonel Besara Haji Mat Noor. He just passed away last week. Al-Fatiha. I believe that this attachment broadened my mind, broadened my horizons, my thinking and my view. I just like a year after graduating, when I've been awarded with this Merdeka Award grant. So I'm very young, I'm very fresh at that time. I'm starting my career at that time, and I think this program gives me a pace to keep my passions in this scientific journey. Just a few advice to the new applicants. Do write a plain scientific writing, okay? But avoid the jargon, the things that insulate the intelligence of your reader. So you have to be very careful and try to communicate information and convey your message simply and clearly. I remember that the primary goal of the communication is to convey the information. On the spirit of Merdeka, this is, from my point of view, the most important matter is not about you. Is about what and how you can contribute to the people and to the nation, to our beloved nation, Malaysia. Remember that it's not about you and what you could achieve or you could gain from this program. I would like to thanks to everyone that helped me to this stage, my research team, my families, Merdeka Awards, and all. I can say, I can pinpoint all of you, but you know who you are. So I guess this Merdeka Award could serve as a bridge for young researchers like us. So take this opportunity to advance your careers and contribute to the nation. You will never know until you try. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Shukro, for the sharing. I think it's a great information for our participants or to take note, and then eventually they can use it for their applications. Right, I would like to invite the last panelist as well. It's the most young panelist in the team. Is the Dr. Ong Wijun from Xiamen University. He's the recent award winner as well from 2018. I'm sure that he will share with us his idea and how he got the award and what are the outcome from there. Thanks, Wijun. Over to you.
Thanks, Danny, for the kind introduction. So I'm Wijun Ong, who is currently an associate professor in the School of Energy and Chemical Engineering at Xiamen University, Malaysia. So first and foremost, I'd like to thank the YSN as well as ASM for the kind invitation to invite me for this sharing session. I'll say that this will be my second sharing session, apart from the very first one that was right after I came back from USA, where I shared to all my students at Xiamen University, Malaysia. So I received this award in 2018. I remember that it was in December. I received the award from Deputy Yang di-Pertuan Agong, Sultan Nazrin, and I'll say that would be the best moment that I received such a prestigious award from the nation. Right? Then in the following year, in 2019, I had a 3-month attachment in Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, LBNL, as well as University of California, Berkeley, UCB. So I'm sure that some of you all may be wondering, where is the location of the Berkeley? And in fact, this is actually the map of the USA, and the Berkeley is located right at this region. And looking into more in depth, this is a San Francisco Bay. I'm sure that everyone is aware of the Golden Gate Bridge, right? And Berkeley is right located over here. So for that, especially during the sunsets of the day, it will be a very nice sightseeing, whereby here is a LBNL, and here is a University of California, Berkeley I'm able to build across the San Francisco Bay as well as the Golden Gate Bridge. There's something very fascinating, especially after a long day of research activity in my laboratory. And LBNL is actually a United States, USA national laboratory that conducts scientific research on behalf of the Department of Energy. So apart from LBNL, there's other national laboratory that you may be aware of. For example, the Argonne National Lab, ANL, the PNNL, Pacific Northwest National Laboratory, National Renewable Energy Lab, NREL, and so forth. And you may be wondering, where is the location of the LBNL as well as the UCB? Actually, LBNL is located right on the top of the hill of the Berkeley, which is able to overlook the campus of the UC Berkeley. So that's why usually we will have a close collaboration between two institutions. One is at the LBNL and the other part will be at the UCB. And you'll be wondering, at which research center I'm affiliated with. In particular, I'm affiliated with the Joint Center for Artificial Photosynthesis, JCAP. And the next question is, why do I choose this as my research attachment? That closely aligns with my research expertise as well as my direction in the field of renewable energy fields. I'm sure that since young, in primary 4 or primary 5, when we study science, we know about the natural photosynthesis. Let's take an example, like a green leaf. So when you have the water moisture as well as the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, together with the presence of the sunlight, able to release or exhale oxygen for the human beings, as well as the production of glucose for the plant growth. To mimic these natural photosynthesis pathways, we have this artificial photosynthesis. That will be my research focus, whereby I'll be developing engineering nanomaterials for the solar to chemical field conversions, which is totally from the concept of the natural photosynthesis. In other words, the nanomaterials or the catalyst is actually similar to the natural leaf, which is able to do such a function. Then the next thing will be, once I've chosen LBNL as my research attachment, who is my host, right? Professor Joy Egger is a staff scientist in LBNL, as well as he is also a adjunct professor in the Department of Materials Science and Engineering, MSE, in the University of California, Berkeley. So for that reason, I have the luxurious of having both sides facilities, once in LBNL and at the same time in the UCB facilities. And you may be wondering, how do I know him, right? Actually, I've known him way before when I joined this Merdeka Award attachments. Back in 2016, when I was a staff scientist in Institute of Materials Research and Engineering, IMRE, Agency for Science, Technology and Research, ASTA in Singapore. Actually, there were once that Professor Joy Egger visited my research group in ASTA. From there onwards, we have actually constant discussion, as well as we are finding some potential collaborations between his group as well as my group. And just for your information, as you may know that I'm working on the area of nanostructure catalysts. And for Professor Joy Egger, he's working in the area of electrochemistry. So there will be a very good bridge to bridge between two different research disciplines that may come up with some of the impactful research that may be merit to the scientific community. So with this Merdeka Award Grant for the international attachments, this has definitely strengthened our collaboration from both sides. So moving on, that of course, this is a very golden opportunity, right? So I involved some of the research activities with his team members, for example, with a group of researchers, postdoctorate fellows, and so forth. As I mentioned just now, I was affiliated in this JCAP, Joint Center for Artificial Photosynthesis. So in other words, there are quite a number of experts coming from diverse countries who has specific skills in some of the projects. There will be a very good collaborations even where I left the UC Berkeley. And apart from that, it's important to disseminate some of the knowledge apart from performing some lab experiments. So for that, for your information, JCAP has two primary sites, both at Lawrence Berkeley as well as in Caltech. And just for your information, the distance between both institutions, LBNL and Caltech, is about 600 km. And for that, definitely we'll need to have a Zoom webinar or Zoom meetings to share as well as to convey some of the information that may be useful for all the scientists in this JCAP center. And at the same time, I got an experience for the synchrotron radiation. So this is also another iconic, I would say, building or platform in LBNL. So whereby you can perform some of the synchrotron radiation or some of the in situ or operandum analysis in the ALS, advanced light source for the synchrotron experiments. And this is some of the photos that I'd like to share with all of you that involve some of the synchrotron radiations. And I myself in one of the beam line where it's ambient pressure, SPS, as well as for the small angle X-ray scattering. So this, just for information, for this beam line is working non-stop, 24 hours. And even at midnight, there will be a lot of the researchers actually mingling in the ALS for the research analysis. And this is just some of the images. As I say, that this is an in situ radiation. So we'll be have within the chamber window, we'll be able to see the reaction occurring at the same time. And then you have the analysis being carried out simultaneously, right? And apart from that, of course, we need to enjoy life, right? So I'm pretty, this is something that's a very fascinating event in LBNL. For me, I pretty enjoy tennis. So I'm aware of Grand Slam. So over here in LBNL, there's so-called annual research slam, whereby this is something like a 3-minute thesis where the early career scientists or some of the postdoctorate fellows will be able to share some of their 3-minute research pitch with the members and see who are the winners. And this event was held during the tea break. So in other words, it's kind of informal for the sharing section with the teams, with the JCAP as well as with the LBNL members. So apart from that, I got a chance to go to UC Berkeley. As you may know, that my host, Professor Joy Edgar, is also adjunct professor in UCB. And for those who are not aware of, UCB is actually ranked #1 in the chemistry field from the US News ranking. So over here, I get a chance to participate in the annual ChemX conference. Just that it's so coincidentally that this was held during my research day. Then I said, why not to take up this conference? And I'm able to meet some of the people who are within my fields, as well as mingle around that may be helpful for potential networking. And at the same time, able to meet some of my previous collaborators or previous professors where I communicate with them through emails, right? And this is just some of the images in UC Berkeley during nighttime, right? So this is a bell tower where it will be run every hour, as well as the Ministry of Library, pretty good atmosphere for education as well as for research. And if you're located at the top of the bell tower, or it's called the Cedar Tower, you'll be able to view the all corners of UC Berkeley, and even from the far of the LBNL. That shows that LBNL is located on the hill of the Berkeley. And at the same time, since I'm in California States, I get a chance to visit Stanford University and meet some of the professors for some of the potential collaborations, together with my research team, together with Professor Joy Edgar's team, visiting this Stanford University. And these are some of the photos and able to visit engineering department, right, in the Stanford University. So lastly, to conclude that, this Merdeka Award grant has really given me quite a number of valuable experience where I may not have a chance to visit Lawrence Berkeley National Lab without this Merdeka Award grant. And I would say that the outcome would be definitely open my eyes to the global research technology. And remember that research cannot be always a lone ranger. You always need to work as a collective among all the interdisciplinary research teams. So for that, why not apply for these grants? And remember, when you got these grants, you are representing not only institution, but at the same time representing Malaysia, bringing the fame of Malaysia to the world. Be proud and uphold the spirit of the Merdeka. And lastly, this has really impacted my career, where I received not only Merdeka Award Grant, apart from that, the prestigious Green Talent Awards from Germany, as well as some of the highly cited researcher awards, publications, as well as becoming like chief editor, associate editor, and editor board of a number of journals. So with that, thank you very much once again to YSN and ASM for this personal invitation and for me to share my experiences, as well as thank to my other funding agency like MOHI, as well as Xiamen University Malaysia for all the related research funds. And lastly, just to promote a little bit, Xiamen University will be celebrating 5th anniversary this year, and the main campus will be celebrating the 100th anniversary. So to in line with this anniversary celebration, we'll be having the virtual conference. I serve as a conference chairman. Would like to invite all of you to join this event, and you may look up more details from this website. So that's all for me from my side. Thanks a lot for this invitation.
Thank you, Wei Jun, for the excellent sharing. I'm glad to hear from all the panelists. Very impressive sharing our experience. I get excited. I would like to go for the attachment if I'm still eligible to apply. Thanks for that. I think there are good questions from the chat box and Q&A. I'm sure there are a few questions from the Facebook. Just for benefits of everyone who are in the Facebook as well, we have a number of questions from the Zoom link. I would like to pose the specific questions, probably just to start with Madam Nadia, on the eligibility. There are a lot of questions about, okay, why there's an age limit in this specific grant. Is that something that we should pay attention on so that I will still knowing whether I'm still eligible? Madam Nadia, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Prof, for the question. Basically, Merdeka Award has two signature programs. So first, because we feel that those above 35 will probably be someone considered for the Merdeka Award itself, as opposed for the grant, because that's basically the main direction. So we want to differentiate between the two programs, right? So which is why we had that age limit, basically. For us, if you are above 35, you probably have more achievements, basically, that may warrant you for the actual award itself and not the grant. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Madam Nadia. Just to follow up another question also about the eligibility. Some of our participants who might be now currently located in overseas, they are just checking with you, they are still eligible because we are talking about international attachment. They might be thinking, I should be from Malaysia, I'm going for overseas, just like what we had here from there to go US, Canada, and other country. If I'm already stationed in British or European country, am I still eligible for this grant?
Yes, so long as you are a Malaysian, and we have to check to make sure that there's no duplication with existing programs to make which while you are at a certain country or studies, So we will check with you to make sure that there's no duplication in terms of funding or grants. But yeah, wherever you are, as long as you are Malaysian within the age limit, you can apply. So please apply. All
right, thanks, Madam Nadia. So very much, I think we have cleared some of the doubts of our participants. And I'll follow up the questions. I just want to pose it to special, maybe Abi, you would like to share with us. Do you think that we would like to get a confirmations from the host country, because you actually went to so many places? I think that actually excites a lot of our participants. You went to 3 locations, and then I think Vijun also went to 2 of them. So it seems like it's the benefit for us, or opportunity for us to really go into different places when there's attachment. So just for our benefit of our participants, are they actually required to contact all the professors that already being the host? Maybe I can hear from you, Abi, your experience, how you get to so many places.
Yeah, sure, Danny. I think to start with, it is not necessary to actually have a confirmation of attachment. But remember, this is an award and it's a competition. And so you have to take into account of the fact that there are many people who will be applying, who are equally or more qualified than you. So how can you get your proposal to stand out? And the first one is that you have to give confidence to the funding body. So the Merdeka Award Grant or the Merdeka Award Secretariat have to have confidence that if they were to award you the grant, that you will be able to achieve the goals that are set out there. And so what I would highly recommend you is to have evidence of some levels of communication or even explanation of why you are certain that you will be able to secure the attachment. And even better, if you already have some, sort of proof of communication, even if you don't have any collaboration yet. Because I don't think you will be penalized, if you don't have collaboration yet, because the whole idea for this grant is to try something new, to push yourself out there and to discover new, collaborative opportunities. The second, I think, equally important thing to think about is that although it sounded as though I went to many places, you will notice that they were all in America. And for example, Washington, D.C. is only, an hour's train ride from Johns Hopkins from Baltimore. And so it did not even cost the Merdeka Secretariat, any additional amounts. What is important here is to look at your cost-benefit ratio. So again, you might be as competitive as somebody else. But if somebody else is going to achieve this amazing, sort of grant attachment at a fraction of the cost that you're actually going to propose, then, you're going to also be at a disadvantage. Because remember, this Merdeka Award Grant is supposed to also represent this Merdeka spirit. And when you think about what our forefathers achieved with so little budget, yet so much, and to create value from very little resources, I think your proposal should also reflect that exact same ethos, that you are strategic and you understand the utilitarian approach to everything that you do, cost benefit.
Right, thank you, Abi, for the good advice. Now I'd like to pose another question to Shukru. When you started up this idea, because I'm sure this is something very new, very novel, how you actually you started venture into this? This is something that I want to do, and when I want to use these funds or this particular attachment to go to this place. So what is your background or study before you really making a decision and putting a proposal into the applications? Shukru.
Okay. First of all, because I'm working on the solar cell, so I'm looking to the founder of this device so that you can learn from the best. So it will become the standards in our labs or in Malaysia. The second point is the locations. Like the Prof. Abi mentioned, it's about cost effective. So it's hard to get a fund to go to this expensive country like Switzerland. I don't think that any grant can support us to go there for a long time with the high cost of living, the connections, the transport, everything. Then there's things that we have to be considered in choosing our attachment. Danny.
All right, thank you, Shukru. I just want to follow up the same questions, a similar question to Janet. Why you choose Canada? Because I hear US, Vijay went to US, Abi went to US, and Shukru went to Switzerland. How about yourself? Why you particularly choose Canada? It's such a cool place.
Actually, I don't specifically choose Canada. I chose the researcher. Because he is working on similar field. It's not exactly similar because what he's doing, I would say, is not being done in Malaysia at that point of time. I don't think it's being done up till now. It can be pretty challenging, but I'm intrigued by the fact that he is into materials. And when I check his papers, he's into sensing as well. and he's doing another kind of sensing that I haven't had experience in before, and therefore because it's 3 months, I would like to discover more about this particular sensing. And when I was there, it's not just about the research, I would say, it's about the dynamic of his group. I like the fact that he's a chemist, but he's also working alongside many other different kinds of scientists. And he's also into commercialization. I would say that it's because of the ecosystem there. It really encouraged his research to be commercialized at a faster pace. So this is something that I am always interested in. Then when I came back and realized that there are just so many things that I have to learn before I can actually have something as simple as a chemical to be commercialized. And therefore, to know that a chemist like myself is doing it and is able to do it, give me some form of guideline that it is doable. It is very difficult, extremely difficult, but I would say that with proper guidance, I can't do it by myself, frankly speaking, not at all. With the support from the proper, I would say, proper channels in the university, only then I am at stage where I have the confidence to sell my product.
Right, thanks, Janet, for the
Thank
sharing.
you.
Yeah, I'd like to just follow up a bit of question here and there from the questions. Wei Jun, when you participate or you applied for this grant, I believe you are still a very young early career researcher at that time, right? So what makes you so confident that you can put in such an application for such a grant to travel to USA, to go for different locations? I think there are 2 places that you went to look at all these things. I believe when you're doing your PhD time, you don't have such exposure as well. So how do you make yourself, putting yourself, trying something crazy, go ahead on this kind of projects?
Probably I can reflect that based on my previous working experience in Singapore. So I was a staff scientist in INRAE, A-star for 2 years. So over there, at the time we have those fundamental research as well as some of the commercialization, patented research. So from there, and usually we have a number of like webinar or some of the physical like meetings with some of the overseas professors. That time we have COVID, so that will be much easier for any like interactions. And from there, I get a chance that's to communicate with people, open up my eyes as well as my mind, that don't just limit within what you know. I think that's important. You should know what is happening in the world, in the globally, as well as get to know the current state of the art research, as well as I would say the national agenda as well as global agenda. So from there, by talking to people, increase my knowledge as well. And when I put up these applications, I take upon their advisors, right? As well as before that, I do communicate with my host, right? To see is there any like, how do we make it a better applications? Of course, at the same time, we need to uphold the spirit of Merdeka. So it will be like a balance between the Merdeka spirit as well as some of the, I would say, the research experience that I gained from my previous working, as well as my previously, I have some other attachment in Australia. So I think all in all, that made me probably much more confident. And also like what Professor Abi mentioned, that during your interview, you must show confidence that the secretary think that you are eligible to be awarded as the next Merdeka Award recipient.
Thanks, Wei Jun. I think a lot of people also get excited when they heard about this interview, the sessions. It sounds like very, very horrible or something very, something scary for them. So I want to hear from Madam Nadia again. So what is the actual criteria when you go to the interview session from our panel? You have, I'm sure that all the applicants are very well, especially those are shortlisted, they are really high quality applicants. So what is the actual things that you look for during the interview, or any selection criteria that you think can help our participants here today?
Yeah, that's very interesting actually. Basically, I've mentioned earlier that the interview somewhat is like Shark Tank basically. So you'll be given a certain time allocation. First, you have to pitch your idea or proposal basically, and then the rest of it is the Q&A. So I mentioned what we're looking for is for that unique factor basically, and how, because if you're already there at the interview, you are already shortlisted. You've already made it among hundreds and hundreds of applicants to perhaps the top 20, depending. So, you're already there. We already like your idea. So tell us a little bit more about yourself as well. We want to see how you present. And to help you with that is the Secretariat also will provide like a one-day session on how to pitch your ideas, kind of training basically. So it's like storytelling mixed with how to pitch your ideas with the experts from Petronas, Exxon, and also Shell. So we will provide you with that added assistance to help you to overcome your nervousness or whatever during the interview. So that is one of the things that we will help you with. But yeah, what we're looking for is if you made it to the interview, we already like your proposal. So just show us what you have, and relate it back on how it can help Malaysians and the people of Malaysia. That's the number one factor basically, because the name of the trust is Merdeka Award Trust. We want to see that passion, determination, spirit, and how not so much commercialization, but how it can, help, or perhaps that viability that, perhaps something that is relatable to Malaysian or Malaysians. Yeah.
Thanks, Nadia. Okay, thanks for, I want to hear from the participants' point of view. Maybe Abi, you can share with me, when you go into the room for the interview, what do you feel? What do you like to present yourself? Right, Abi?
Yeah. Thanks, Danny. So I might be wrong, but I think I'm quite sure that I'm officially the first person to have actually been interviewed for the Merdeka. So I think in the cycle, because I guess my name starting with A, B, ended up being the first one to be interviewed. What is really important is that, a lot of times we measure our academic impact usually by surrogate output. How many papers we publish, what patents we have filed, all these measures. And those measures have got some value. But what you have to understand is audience targeting. The people who interview you are not scientists. They are business leaders, HR leaders, so they're looking at different types of dimensions. And it's really important for you to remember this audience. Do not think your number of papers or your H index or your citations is what defines you. You have to make a real effort to really demonstrate what value that you can create, what impact that you want to create that's beyond your own professional impact, and make that extra effort to communicate your science, communicate, and get to their level. And I don't mean this in bringing it down, but actually bringing it up in terms of engagement. Make that extra effort. And for me, it was such a fun time. The fact that the video also you're being recorded, because then later on, it takes on to another stage. And so it can be quite intimidating. But if you're there to just share your story, trust me, then, that 30 minutes or 20 minutes that you have just flies. And I, for me, I just thought it was so invigorating meeting people who were like, oh my God, you scientists can talk, you scientists, can share this really cool stuff. This is really happening in Malaysia. It's an amazing opportunity just to be in that room with different audiences that you normally are stuck with.
All right, thanks. I would like to invite a female panelist here to share the same. What do you feel? Because Abi is a best science communicator, so he is very fancy about all these things, so he can talk very well. So Janet, how about you? Because you mentioned briefly just now, you're a bit nervous before you enter the ring, you're not sure, you're chit-chatting, but yeah. So probably you can share what was your experience those days?
Yeah, actually, Abi said it all. He said it so well. What I said after that, I think it's not going to make any impact. To me, I would say that, yeah, be truthful, be frank, and then really like what you're doing, really understand what you're doing, like the back of your hand. And what I remember is that the nerves, of course. When I was asked to enter the room, I just pretend to be confident, but I wasn't at all. So I just sat. just to give you an impression of what's happening. And then facing a panel of, I think, 5 judges, if I'm not wrong. I think 5 judges. And then they asked, I think they were kind enough to ask me to talk a little bit about myself. And then they went on to ask about my research proposal. And I think I went to quite great lengths to describe to them what the intention of applying for this proposal. And then what I remember after that was that the questions come fast and furious. They have a lot of questions. I think it's because first, maybe they don't understand. I don't think so. Secondly, I think it's because they are quite interested in what I would like to be doing when I was there. So when the questions come, I think it's quite natural for you to be to delve into answering their questions, trying to pacify them, try to convince them, and then you have all the facts coming to your head. Telling them why is it that you're doing this? Why is it that you plan to do something that is quite different from that of others? So at the end of the day, I think midway, it wasn't so nerve-wracking. After that, I forgot all about nerves. What I was trying to do then was try to convince them that I can actually conduct what I have proposed in the research proposal. So the good thing about that is that when the questions come fast and furious, you forgot about everything else. You just want to respond to them. All the scientific facts come to your head. And then I would say that because it's so scientific, it intrigued the panels even more. They intrigue the panels even more. So you can try to say in a later, they may ask you to do that, but if you can say it in a scientific way, because I believe that at this point, panels, they are extremely wise. They can understand what you're talking about. So if you honestly try to tell them what is it that you're doing, even though you feel that it's too scientific for them, I feel that they are able to comprehend what you're saying. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Janet. I would like to go into, give me few more minutes just to get Shukro to comment on this. How do you strategize your budget? Because I hear the experience, I hear the criteria. Budget is always one of the most challenging tasks that we've crafted when we put in proposal. If we under budget, we may not have sufficient funds to travel. If we're above budget, we become non-competitive. So how do you strike a balance between the budget when you're starting out the proposal?
I was lucky enough before I coming back to UKM, I was doing my attachment, 1-year attachment in Italy, around the Alps region as well. So I think it's quite refreshing for me to put all this amount, which is logically to be accepted without any revisions. So I put the allocation for the housing, I put allocation for the transport, for the conference or the research materials. So all things I think itemize everything very well. So I guess experience might help, but if you don't have, don't shy to ask anyone, because most of the lecturers know very well. They are traveling around for the conference, the national conference. So I think it's not a big problem. Just make sure it's enough for your stay.
All right, thank you, Shukro. Wei Jun, last question probably just before move on, just quick one. What do you think that because you are the youngest across the team here, so probably you have the freshest memory. Do you still remember some of the questions or the topic that discussed during the interview? And why do you think that you are the chosen one? Probably not the chosen one. You are the one winner of the grants.
Pretty good question, Danny. Right. Questions posted to me during the interview. Of course, like what Janet mentioned, in a layman term, describe yourself. That's first thing, and the research proposal for sure. And then from that point onwards, they will ask a number of questions. Right, in terms of scientific way, as well as they even ask a number of questions regarding some of the, is it possible to be commercialized? I remember that questions because for me, I've been working a lot on like fundamental research, although I do have some application-driven technology. but again, to be applied in industry or even to be like patented, it will take some years, right? So for that, and I always believe that fundamental research is very important. Without a strong fundamental research, then it will not have a very good application driven for the industrial purposes. So from there, and they'll ask, and I try to really relate based on what I've learned previously in my primary school, right? Biology, right? And at the time we do have the science subjects, and I try to relate what we have learned, right, to what my research project is all about. So with this connection or this bridge, I think that this will be much easier to give the panels a probably a better view of what are you going to plan to work on, as well as I remember they may ask me that time, so what is your research expertise and what are you going to learn from there? And then probably is there any probably chosen institutions or this? And at the time I do share with them that probably some of my idols in this area, right, as well as Lawrence Berkeley as well. At the time I'm pretty familiar with JCAT because of my previous employments in Singapore, where I get to know this professor as well, right? So I would say that all these questions need to be clarified clearly, right? Step by step. So from general going to more in depth, and also giving the panels a greater idea of what you are planning to work on, as well as need to be confident. I think that's the main point, because for those who are shortlisted, I'm sure that each and everyone know within their fingertips what they're going to present, but then showing the sense of confidence, I think that's very critical. Without sense of confidence, they'll know that probably your project may not be successful, and at the end, you may not be able to get such a Merdeka Award grant, right? So with all within like 20 to 25 minutes, initially I'm pretty nervous, I remember that, but throughout the process, you follow the question asked one after another, I'm sure the nerve will go lesser and lesser, and by the time you know that you have done the best for this interview.
Thank you, Adrian. Wonderful. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone here for the sharing. But before we end, I would like to actually invite Madam Nadia to share with all of us. I'm sure all of us, especially the participants, are excited to know how can I apply. I know listening to all the great story today, I'm sure I'm gonna excited to apply for the grants. So maybe Madam Nadia, you can just enlighten all our participants today. How can we apply for the grant so that they can travel in 2022? Thank you, Nadia, over to you.
All right, thank you, Danny. Okay, so first step is head on to the Merdeka Award website, which is www.merdekaaward.my, and go to the grant application page. From there, you will be able to see this page right here, and you scroll down, which brings you to step 2, which is the token code application. Just key in your email address and the token code will be sent to your email address. Do check your spam email because sometimes it gets sent there. We've received some inquiries with regards to that as well. So check your spam, check all your inbox basically. So you can use the same code to go back to the page basically, to adjust or update your proposal basically. So keep that token code. You may use it for the next when you want to update your proposal. And then comes to the first part, which is your personal information. Pretty straightforward. Just key in all the details that is listed there on screen. And then you select your application type. That's divided into 3, which is education and community, environment, as well as HST. But don't worry, the explanation is there. For example, under EduCom, there's also arts, sports, or social work there as well, and environment and HST. So have a read through on the application type, and you also list down the 3 preferred institution. Like we discussed earlier, you can just you can go to all 3, or you can just go to one. That one you can explain later in your budget proposal paper, basically. So the next step is just to fill in your career and academic information. Just put in your experience and your qualifications basically, and if just let us know if you are receiving any assistance or sponsorship or fund. Just list it down here. And now it's time for you to tell us a little bit about your proposal. So first, we need you to summarize the paper basically for us and to answer one simple question. We want to get a feel of who you are. So we'll ask you, how do you in your current profession or field demonstrate and uphold the spirit of Merdeka, to relate it back to the whole essence of Merdeka and Merdeka Award basically. Then it's time for you to list down your awards and recognition achieved. Just add more if you have more. If you don't have, then just click save and go to next. And then this is the fun part where you upload all the supporting documents, your identification, your IC transcripts, CV, budget, as well as the actual full proposal. So earlier on, just summarize for us. This is where you put in your full proposal here as supporting documents. So you just all the listing is there. So don't worry if you forget to upload any document, the system will let you know. So not to worry. And which brings you to the next step. Just click you agree to the declaration, click save and next. And if your application is successful, you will go to this page. We will thank you, and that's it. That's the brief overview of the whole application page. So go to www.merdekaaward.my. And yeah, it will take you to the step-by-step application process. And if you guys have any other questions, just you can email us. The email address is there, or reach us via our website as well, if you have any other follow-up questions.
Thank you, Nadia, for the sharing. I don't see any particular question. Oh yeah, one of the question posed up. Due to the COVID-19 situations, a lot of the international travel are banned. So how do I plan for this kind of scenario for my international attachment? So Nadia, over to you.
Yeah. To begin with, the actual recipients from this year's application will only go for the attachment next year in 2022. But however, we understand the current situation, the pandemic, the global pandemic basically, and we will take all of that into consideration, and perhaps we will be a bit more flexible in our approach basically. So we will, because your safety is our priority. So yeah, we will keep it open. So that's basically it.
Okay. Some probably will ask about the budget. So what are the criteria? What are the coverage of the grant for the travel? Is it cover only the food and the travel, or anything else that it will be insurance and so probably maybe Nadia can share with us on this?
Yeah, we cover basically almost all of the expenses that you may incur during your attachment, from accommodation to your flight or logistics, basically your food and beverage, and also if there's any related fee when it comes to from the host institution itself or organization. Most of the time there's no fee, but sometimes there are. So, or perhaps some supporting materials or books that you may need, we do consider that as well. We don't reveal the actual budget per se because we don't want that to limit you. However, however, if the budget is above our own budget, we will notify you, because it's, for us, the priority is the actual proposal itself first. We will be in contact with you and try to talk to you on how you can perhaps lower down the budget if we like your idea or proposal already. So yeah, don't let that worry you. But yeah, we cover mostly everything, except for if you want to purchase like laptops, or we don't cover that. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Nadia. Another question about the application is, am I have to be a PhD holders, or am I have to be a master holders, or what is the minimum eligibility, or am I have to be a full-time academia to be applying for this position? Any industrial applicant, is it possible?
Yeah, I mean, there's two. If the field of which you're applying is academics, then you need a master or equivalent professional degree. However, if you're a professional, you must need at least some years or substantial achievements already in your field of work to be able to apply. So yeah, it's simple actually. That is the criteria which for application for the grant.
All right, thank you, Nadia, for the sharing. I'm sure that there are more questions coming in, but I think due to the time constraint, unfortunately, I have to close the sessions. But before I end the session, I really want to invite all the panelists, give one piece of advice to our applicants. What is the best for them? And then, yeah, just one piece of advice. Maybe we can start from the youngest, Wei Jun, instead of the other round. Yeah, Wei Jun, over to you.
Sure, Danny. To all the young generation, be confident in yourself. I think that's the most important aspect in our life, the most important elements. And don't hesitate your strength. And you are the Malaysian. And when you get selected, you must be proud. And not only for your institution, for the nation, and then bring more fame to the whole world for the research activity. And I'm sure that you'll be successful in every aspect one day. And this is also a piece of advice to all my research students, even to my postgraduate students. Don't be afraid and strive for the best, for the potential attachments toward developing your future career. And remember that you are the future pillar of Malaysia and uphold the spirit of the Merdeka.
Thank you, Wei Jun. Shukro.
Thank you. Nothing much. Most covered by Wei Jun. I think just firm with the ideas that you want to sell to the interviewer. Don't be that nervous. I as well nervous, but yeah, we all can manage that. Handle your stress very well. And always remember that this grant is not for you. It's for the people of Malaysia and our beloved nation. Thank you.
Thanks, Shukro. Janet, over to you.
I would say that read the criteria carefully, fulfill all the criteria. And if you have fulfilled all the criteria, be confident when you apply. I believe that when you already have the intention to apply, that would mean that you have some form of confidence in yourself. And then this is when you want to sell your idea to the panel. It doesn't mean that you have to necessarily go into commercialization. Selling would mean that what is it that you want to do? Convince them that you are capable of doing it. And then when you get it, finally, enjoy yourself because this is really a once in a lifetime opportunity, especially for those who are thoroughly educated in Malaysia. This is such a fantastic opportunity when you're given the opportunity to go overseas. Thank you.
Thanks, Janet. Abi, over to you.
Thanks, Danny. What is there to add after this amazing panelists have shared so much? For me, I think it's really for everyone to fight the imposter syndrome. Especially when, today's world where everybody is focusing on being better than all, we forget the value of being better for all. So I think it's important that we really celebrate our individuality. Just recognize that I'm good at what I do, because it's only if you apply and recognize yourself, you have the opportunity for others to recognize you. So as I say, apply lah.
Thank you very much, Abi. So I would like to invite also Nadia, just give you a piece of advice to all of our participants today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We receive a lot of amazing ideas every year for the grant. So I guess if I would give one advice, it would be genuine, basically, because the panelists would be able to see and would, if they feel you, then you're there already. So yeah, be genuine in your approach and just be true to yourself. Yeah. And like Prof. Abi said, apply.
All right, thank you very much. I really appreciate all your time. Thanks on behalf of all the participants. I would like to thank all my panelists for sparing your time with us today. I learned a lot from each other, especially the panelists' experience. It really amazed me for it. I wish that I was still 35 and I'm eligible for applications. Thank you again for all the panelists, as well as Madam Nadia for this joint cooperation efforts. On behalf of YSN-ASM, I would like to thank the Merdeka Award Secretariat for supporting these events. I appreciate all these panelists and all the person working behind me, Handy, Vanita, and all the YSN-ASM members supporting this event. Thank you very much again. That's all. We hope to see everyone again in the next coming sessions in the future. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.